Okay.
All right. I think
It
we
is
are
being recorded.
recording. Yeah. Did you accept it?
Yeah.
All right. I think we're recording now.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. So before we get started, I just want to say hi to everyone that's going to watch this later. My name's Bren Olson, and I'm here with my mom, Marsha Hines, and we have decided to support each other on this journey and launch something. We don't know what it is yet, so you get to join us on this creative journey. But overall, we knew that we're on an intense journey together with everything going on right now. And it's a time for growth and transformation and rebirth. And we realized that, maybe this is something that's going to bring us closer together. Maybe we could support each other, and maybe we could launch something fun where we just chat. We don't know what it is, but you get to join us today as we figure it out. So this is video one of whatever the heck that we are creating that is wanting to come out of us. So welcome. Okay, so with that being said, I think it's pretty funny. We kind of took, I don't know, like 10 minutes just to get settled in, and we're joking about our spaces, like, oh, what should our background look like? Should we do a virtual background? Is my office look okay? Is my creative room look okay? For me, it's definitely been a limiting factor for me of wanting perfection to even launch some of my platforms or some of the things that I want to do to help others. And it's just kind of funny. It continues to be a reoccurring theme of like, I'm not perfect enough to serve others, but that's kind of BS. And it's just funny that it keeps coming back in. I'm like, let's just turn the record on and get moving. Like, who cares about whatever's going on in the background, or if I have my husband's awesome childhood things peeking out behind. Like, that's fun. That's us. That's real. That's raw. So I'm kind of hoping that that's what maybe this could be for us and for others, is just real raw support. What do you think about that?
I think you hit it on that. Yeah, I was like, oh, should I change my clothes? I'm like, yep, nope, this is what I put on this morning. This is what you're gonna get. And then I was like, oh, well, I sat over here and you only see the roll top desk. And then we got started and I was like, oh, there's all my crap on top of the roll top desk. And they were like, okay, well, oh, but while I'm showing you, hey, check out this background, then it's like, oh, hey, look, we did this. Oh, hey, look, we did that. And it's all about that process. And you're right. We're not perfect. That's not why we're here. What we're doing is learning and growing and becoming, and even our space is a part of that. So right now you get my back corner, which is relatively clear other than my elliptical here, which I didn't use this morning. But a really fantastic thing is not only are we going to talk and have conversations that are real, this is who we are. These are the things that we go through. And if my experiences help you to not make my same mistakes or help learn from my lessons or my perspective and understanding, that just makes your acceleration all that much faster, hopefully. And as you see, because we're working and remodeling, you'll see my background change as I do as we go through this process.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Like, yeah, our backgrounds may change, our clothing may change, our appearance may change. I know that's something on my journey. Like, even just a year ago, looking back, I look like a different person because of the things that I've kind of let go of, the trauma that I've healed. It's just a different part of the learning journey, and I change. And so, why wait for the future me to start helping people now, right? There's this false need to be perfect or to be enough, and that's definitely been a reoccurring theme for me that's surfaced to kind of let go of, which I think kind of led us to have this conversation where I called you one morning and it's like, I don't know what's surfacing, that none of my tools, my normal tools of breath work, meditation, dancing, Tibetan clearing, none of my tools were working to move this energy.
Oh, froze up.
I'm good. Are you good?
Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nope, you're back.
It says, yeah, I got my
Oh,
internet
now you froze.
connection. Are we good now? I'm good on my side. Hold on.
While we take this pause for the moment, she had a pretty good statement there, and it's something that I thought about is, and it's something that us as a society tend to do, is we're always living for the next moment, or we're stuck in the past and not appreciating and enjoying and experience this moment. So waiting to be perfect, well, I always figure once I hit perfection, then I'm not going to be here anymore. So if I wait for that, you're going to miss out on all this goodness.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's all about doing the best that you can, being the best you can be as far as a good person, and sharing that now.
Yeah. So am I unfrozen?
You are. You're back.
Yeah, it was an unstable internet connection, but I think it was, universe say, pause, your turn, you speak. I like it. And so, yeah, I think that's it. And so I had some anxiety surfacing, which, to let people know, this is where this is all stemming from. Is I called my mom at like 7 o'clock on the way to work the other morning last week, and was just like, I don't know what this is. It's this anxiety, but it's also a link to feelings of not being heard, not being appreciated for my truth, not people not believing that I know my truth, and also I was craving a need to be heard and to be helped and to be supported. Like I'm a giver, as well as like my mom. Like I want to serve others, and I realized recently, like, I also want to be served. Like, why isn't anybody asking me how I feel? And so it just was telling her, like, I don't know what's going on. What do you think? And her response was, I think that might be my shit.
Oops, my bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about like what made you think that that was, kind of a little bit, it's lineage stuff, right?
Right. Well, and it's, as you were talking there, describing it, I was like, oh, yeah, I've had that come around, and yep, I work on it each time, and each time I get a little better of it, and oh crap, I had some of it flow down to you, which is now looking and thinking about where I am now in my childhood and my experiences. I'm like, oh, where I got that from? That I saw in my parents. I see that in my mom, or I see that in my dad or my sister. And I'm like, oh yeah, it was brought up there. Now I work on it. And sometimes, we go through things and we think, okay, we've taken care of it. It's good. We can move on. And then it comes back again at another level. And that's just us. Because some things are so big, we can't handle them all at once. But then also recognizing, oh, that my shit, yeah, that what I do and how I handle that, how I own that and deal with it, am I passing that on? And maybe it was something that, hey, my mom learned it to this level, now I'm learning it to this level, and Brenda's going to take it to the next. Or that, ooh, yeah, I should have handled that and not pass that on. So it's what, and realizing if it's your shit or my shit, and what do I need to do with that? Do I need to address it? Is it something in me? Or is it, oh, hey, yeah, this is where it came from, and this doesn't serve me, and I can let it go. I can let it go, and I can let it transform. And that's something else that we talked about that was huge.
Yeah, I think so. And like you said, it's just being aware. And so it was nice to call you and be like, huh, that's interesting. And what I've really liked is that we can be really aware of this, but we've been good at being an observer where like I don't blame you for that, right? And like it being passed down, but part of my truth that I've discovered on this journey, this lifetime, is that I'm a cycle breaker, right? I came into this family line to be like, this isn't happening anymore. Like, and calling you and be like, Mom, what's going on? let's do this together. And that's what we kind of talked about on the way in. Like, we spent kind of like 30 minutes chatting about, like, okay, wait a minute, what is this showing us? Why is it so connected to both of us? And then that we both had this craving for support, for us being our unique selves, for us as we can start to help others and speak our truth. And that we just, we wanted people to be like, hey, how are you? Well, then we thought, well, okay, if you want something, if you are wanting and craving something, as within, so without. So then you go in and say, okay, well, am I putting that out to the universe? Am I putting that out to people? So I was like, well, maybe I can start asking people how they are. I do as a coach and a consultant in a way, but I had to set some boundaries and wait people for come to me, but I can do it a little bit differently. And we even thought, well, let's get together at least and chat and see how we can help each other right now, and just launch this platform where you kind of mentioned like what you were struggling with. That's why I called her. I said, okay, if I want people to help me and ask me how I'm doing, I need to start making sure I ask them what they need help with. And so I was like, I'm gonna call my mom. And then I was like, I want to know, like, how are you doing? What do you need help with? And you kind of talked a little bit about your social media struggles and what you're looking for there. So I think, do you want to chat about that a little?
Yeah, and I live rural. That's how I like it. And I have a lot that I want to offer, but living rural, I don't see as many opportunities that I need to be. Okay, there's another point, is I should be aware of them because the opportunities are out there. So another time. But how do I offer that out? And she's like, oh, well, you're going to tweet and you're going to have Facebook.
I did not do Twitter. No. I don't tweet.
What is it? Oh, Instagram.
Instagram. I'm an Instagrammer.
Tell, like, I'm all into this, social media stuff, and I'm not. I have a full-time job, and I'm on the phone all the time, and I'm on the computer all the time. So then when I'm off and I'm wanting to do the things that I truly love, it's like, ooh, this makes it feel like work. But having a conversation doesn't. It feels like I'm just being real and I'm being true. So I was like, well, maybe this is a way, because I understand the value, and yes, it helps me do my life's purpose, and here's a way that I can offer that. But the other end of social media doesn't really zing with me, maybe just at not this point.
Yeah.
And it may in the future, but this is easy. This isn't work. This is just life and conversation and how we can connect. So I was like, oh, maybe we can do this, because I love podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for somebody new to listen to, get different perspectives, just a way to reach out, and that I can tap into them anytime I want to or need. So
yeah. So from this really uncomfortable feeling that I was having that wouldn't go away for a very important reason, was to guide me to this connection that I could have with my mom, to then ask her for what she needs and find out that, one, we need the same thing, and two, we both have this like aversion to current ways of working in social media, because I also have a full-time career and don't want to feel like work. And so we talked a little bit about that, and it's like, no, I totally get you. This is kind of what I do, but what would feel good to serve you? So like my day starts like with meditation, and then like I'm serving myself, and then I get this like download or something to go live on Instagram and serve others. So it never feels like work. And then I get done and I move on for my day and do the next thing. So from that, she's like, well, I love conversation. So why don't we just do what we do all the time when we call and support each other through the uncomfortable feelings, or even some of the successes, just be real and have conversations, and then just put those out there. Don't force it. Do what resonates. So I was like, well, heck yeah, like why not just have the conversations we always have, but then put them out for the world, and maybe someday we can have conversations with others if they want our support, and we could just hold space for them. So that's kind of where we landed with, one, coming from something really uncomfortable to then all of a sudden creating this thing we want to launch together. And we don't necessarily know what it is. We're just like, okay, what are some of the things that we were wanting. So I kind of started writing some stuff down, just to revisit that. We were looking for conversations, right? And I said, like, caring conversations, not just empty conversations, not rhetorical question, hey, how are you? And really it's just, trying to show that you're actually paying attention, but it's like active listening.
Right.
And then I was looking for like validation of my experience, right? So sometimes an experience can be really uncomfortable, or certain things are coming up, like right now in the collective, like there can be a lot of fear, there can be a lot of anger, a lot of stuff surfacing, in order for us to look at it with love and say, I see you, what are you trying to tell me, and transmute it. But because people are getting uncomfortable and they're projecting some of that out, people aren't giving them the time to just even have that experience, or know that their emotions in that time are valid. So I was just looking for, like, just wanting that acceptance that whatever I'm experiencing, whether high vibration or lower vibrational frequencies, was absolutely valid based on my past experiences. And I just wanted someone to say, it's okay, and what do you need to help? So that's where I was at from wanting conversations.
And I think that's something that we miss a lot with society right now, is that we're so busy doing, and everything that's portrayed to us on how we should be feeling, how we should look like, what we should be doing, especially when we're actually really starting to grow and evolve, to get to the higher vibrations. Some of the stuff that I feel or say or see aren't mainstream. And so for me to try to express it to someone else, which is really amazing, that sometimes when you do, you're like, yeah, I so get that. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm okay. I can move on, and we can go when we have this conversation. But some of us don't have that, or don't feel that we have that. So here's a space where you can. That we're all here, we're all experiencing different things, and it doesn't matter if your experience is different than mine. It doesn't matter if you express it a different way than I do. We're just here to listen and say, yeah, I understand you felt that way, and there's nothing wrong with you feeling that way. What you decide to do about it, that's the big important thing. So just yeah, I'm here to listen to what you have to say, and you listen to me and where I'm stuck at, or what I'm dealing with, and that's okay. And then like in coaching, then I can decide what I want to do with that. Yeah,
that's a powerful point of, like, you hit on, like, non-judgmental space, like safe space, non-judgmental, but then you decide. The individual gets to decide what the heck they want to do, and whatever they decide is totally fine, because it's their journey, just like it's my journey. You may give me a little nugget and I'm like, does it resonate? Does it not resonate? And then I action it or don't action it. Totally our choice, like in the individual in the moment. So I like that. And you kind of hit on some of the parts about, we are maybe not what people might consider normal, or we don't necessarily follow the some of the more conventional ways, or and part of that journey, which we can both relate to, is yeah, people maybe don't understand us. It's like, sometimes it's hard to understand the unknown. And I've been there, like, figuring out who I am. So for those of you that don't know, my mom and I are very, very intuitive. We come from a long line of intuitives. And, even though I didn't know it, or chose not to remember it for like 30 years, now that I do, I'm like, yeah, I can talk to my mom about all this craziness. It's that feeling of, oh, you're as crazy as I am, great. Or I can talk to you about all these different things that I couldn't maybe just walk down the street and just anybody be super receptive. And that kind of like hurts my heart a little bit. So it's been part of my journey where craving that safe space for someone that's not going to judge me when all of a sudden I'm talking about dragon energy or mysticism or quantum physics. Like, yes, I am in the third dimension right now, but I'm fully anchored into 5D. And some people are like, I don't understand what you're talking about, but it's because I am coming in to be a bridge between 3D and 5D, because we're ascending, and it's no one left behind. And it's like I'm a way shower. Like, I'm like figuring this out very quickly on my own to then support and guide people on this journey. But some people, you know, we're not all at the same place in the ascension journey. And so I've been really practicing where I deliver divine truth that resonates with the highest self of all involved, so that I see their truth, I see where they're at on their journey. But it's really nice to be able to chat with you, someone that gets dragon energy, that understands what I'm seeing, that when I talk about seeing auras all of a sudden, or my dreams, you get it, and I can finally just let it all out to someone that maybe is at the same, you know, frequency that I'm at, or just at least understands the craziness and doesn't judge it. So that's also what I'm looking for.
And you know, it's nice to know that you can be, because you know, even when you were younger and everything had to be concrete or it wasn't true, and now to where you're like, oh well, I'm 5D and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, oh well, just hang it all out there then, okay. So just being able, you know, for me to see the transition and change, and you know, kind of be that waypoint in between. Yep, here you go, cycle it up higher, go right. And I'm okay where I'm at. And you know, my growth and my ascension is completely different. Even though, you know, you say thing and I'm like, oh yeah, I know that feeling. Or oh, where am I not cycling there? So it's really good to be able to have that conversation. You're right, and just validate, hey, it is what it is, and it's true and it's valid. Now what do you want to do with it?
Yeah. And like someone to have dream work to, like, okay, hey, you know, and dream work is really personal, but there's also other levels of dream work where you're like lucid dreaming, and you maybe even, you know, helping others and like astral projection. And I'm still learning all this, but so sometimes it's nice to be able to call you and be like, so I had this dream and I'm not really sure. And you'll be like, you know, I'm kind of getting this. And then I can take and see if that resonates or not. And then I can kind of keep going. So it's nice to have, again, that support. So I'm not having to process this all by myself. And sometimes it's just nice to tell someone about the crazy dream you had.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And not be judged.
Yeah. No, that was crazy. I agree. Don't know what to think about that one, girl. You're on your own, or other, you know. And it is, and it's nice to know that when someone tells you that or shares an experience, there is no judgment. It's a sounding board. Okay, I need to take it from here and bring it out. And then, you know, that triggers something. They're like, oh, well, this. And it's like, oh, I totally missed that. Now things click together. And we need that. Because I may not catch that, because like if you tell me, I'm like, oh, I didn't look at it that way. Or no, I totally missed that clue in that piece of the message. And it's like, oh, right, you know, hit me with a 2x4 or drop it on my foot. Which I've done twice recently. So yeah.
Message received yet?
Yeah. I'm kind of tired of limping around.
That's funny. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So kind of from that, you know, I did some brainstorming, you did some brainstorming, and it's one thing I do want to mention, that like right after our phone call and all of this, where we were creating all of this and it's just coming out, flowing, we're like, yeah, this feels good, right? I had just gotten to work, and a coworker, you know, messaged on our system and just said, hey, good morning, and just said, how are you? And I was like, oh my God, I sent a picture to my mom. I was like, it's already working. Like, what goes out comes back. And that's because right now we are manifesting so quickly, right? I talked about it this morning. I did a little poll on social media for past, present, future for the collective right now. And it was really that we are like manifesting so quickly, and our thoughts and what we put out there is really important because we're manifesting in any direction. So if you're sitting there in fear and in fear of all this stuff, like, you know, chaos growing and continuing, that's what's going to manifest in your reality. And so as a collective, the stronger we can get to like focus on new earth, positive things coming in for you, dreaming big about as an individual and as humanity, unity, that kind of stuff, unconditional love, like that's what we're going to receive. So that was just proof and validation of like instant manifestation of, okay, I'm feeling this. Okay, that's not true, right? I am supported. People care. I care, you know, okay, but what could I do better to like resonate or embody what I'm looking for? Okay, let's take it one step further. First, like, you know, just good morning, you know, it's good morning, how are you? But also one more step is what do you need? Do you need anything that I can help you with? Like, it's that, because sometimes you'll say, how are you? And people don't, you know, they may just say I'm fine or okay, or they may tell you a lot, or they may just cover it up, but it's almost like that extra step of like, what do you need? Do you need anything that I can help with? Because then it's like, oh, thank God you asked. Blech. So to see him message me like that fast, I was so excited, and I was like, there's something to this. So I really was excited to, you know, really put the time into it and get together. And I was going to pull up, I had kind of digested a little bit and sent you kind of what was in my head about kind of what we talked about, and just to get the caring conversations started. And I had put just a little something together. And so I just said, you know, what are the type of conversations we want to have, right? Caring conversations. And then a safe space offering unconditional love and support through intimate conversations because we care. Right. You know, you're not alone. Your experiences are valid, and we are here for you. So I was like, that really resonates with me, and you know, kind of sent it to you to start the process. And I also shared it with my husband, and he was like, you know, caring conversations really doesn't give me goosebumps. And I was like, he's like, it's just really, you know. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, what about Two Little Witches? And I was like, huh. And you know what came in that moment? Judgment, self-judgment, and fear of rejection. And I was like, huh, like that's because he's like, that's fun. Like, you know, caring conversations, it's like, are people really going to want to join or watch you? But like, you know, he's like thinking of fun things to make this fun, and like who we are and what we chat about. And so I was curious on your opinion of it. But for me, the first thing that came in was like, I don't know, are people going to accept that? And I was like, so here I am again, still fearing rejection for being my true self, because, you know, I'm like, I am like a white witch. I am a mystic. I am a little gypsy. You know, like I have so much, like it's even so hard to process. Sometimes I'm like, who am I? How do I embody all of these things? And then it gets to like, maybe we're everything, maybe we're nothing. I don't know. But, and then at one point I still processing this for like a day or two in my own head. And all of a sudden I'm in the kitchen. I said, maybe when my mom named me, it was really Glenda, and she heard Glenda. And he's like, Glenda, why Glenda? I was like, Glenda the good witch, right? Like if people see that I'm a light being and I'm positive, because, you know, you get this negative connotation around witch or anything, like, you know, even in anything intuitive or mystic, there's always that, the other side that people will play, which again is all just polarity, duality, and it balances out, right? And right. But I know I'm of light, and I know I'm divine, and I know I, you know, fight for team light, you know, whatever that is. But I also appreciate and love all aspects of the darkness, because it really is just a vibration. Everything's energy, and it's balance.
That's what I was gonna say. Everything's balance, which is something that, and so like when you sent that over, I just want to jump in before we get to it.
Yes.
Was the Two Little Witches, which is okay. By no means am I little, nor young or anything like that. But I was like, and I saw this cutesy little thing, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cute.
It's fun, yeah.
But then, like you said, where you thought, oh, judgment, I thought limit.
Interesting.
Well, because I don't want to limit anyone from joining. So if someone saw two little witches, some people will automatically, oh, that's not for me. Or, oh, it's going to be just about this. So even their preconceived ideas of who we are has already set limits on before we've even gotten started.
I'm gonna sneeze.
So, bless you.
I'm gonna, dang it.
So, well, I'll keep talking, you sneeze. So yeah, kind of interesting. Really the same thing. Judgment was in there, because people who see that and then perceive that as something that won't ever resonate with them.
What if that was okay?
It
Like,
would,
what if, like, you know, as long as it resonated with us, that the people that are ready, it resonates with, even if it's already of like, what is this? And I'm gonna maybe watch it, and you know, because we are gonna receive, you know, criticism and judgment and stuff. It's part of it, but that's like their thing.
it is.
And we, especially as we embody more and more of our divine truth, and it makes people uncomfortable, that it's for a reason, and so that's their own thing to deal with. So like, yeah, I guess the question is like, would it be okay if it turned people away if they just weren't ready?
Yeah, and it is. And I think that's a good point, is no matter what you name it, those who resonate to it are going to resonate to it, even if they don't know why. So again, that preconceived of, hey, I'm worried about what someone else is going to think, is in there, whether you call it judgment, whether you call it limits. Again, it's semantics, right? It is the same thing. Caring conversation sounds too wussy.
I mean, that's what it'll be, but maybe that's not the name.
Yeah. And you know, you said raw conversations, and I liked that. Real conversations, because this is it. You're going to get what you're going to get. Try to say it nicely, but you're going to see us as we are. And we're going to talk to you just like we talk to each other. So that kind of vibes better for me. Or just because open conversations, because we'll talk about the gamut. I think there's nothing that we aren't able to talk about at different levels. So
what do you think about making it more personal and more fun, and having some of that in the like background content of like what it is? It's like what it is, but like the name, like what do you think about going like with Brady's recommendation on something that's just like more us, more name, more fun, versus the name being what it is. It's like who we are and then what it is.
Yeah, I think that, you know, who we are is a good thing. And instead of two little witches, I'd say two crows on a line. I don't know.
I like that. So for people that don't know, why don't you tell them about the crow? As people can see in my background, it's also my business logo.
So the crow's been around our family for a long time. So even growing up, my grandmother, Granny, always loved crows. She had a not stuffed, but a fake crow in her kitchen, which always fascinated me. That why would you have a crow in your kitchen? We called her Granny Good Witch. Not quite sure why I don't remember what sparked that's what we decided to call her, and then it kind of caught through the family. And when she passed away, or when my mom's sisters passed away, sometimes when we were really struggling, a crow would appear and talk to us. And she's like, oh, well, that's just Granny coming to let us know that it's going to be all right. Oh, that's just my sister. She stopped in. And so it's always been a representation of our ancestors, as far as from my childhood growing up, my mom, and then now into my daughter. And so a lot of times when I'm struggling, and I've always had an affinity to air, Gemini, in birds. So a lot of my messages have come from birds at different times in my life, but crow has always been ancestors, and that even when they're not here, they're always here to support us. How's that?
Yeah, I like it. And like as you were talking, I was like, two crows on a line. Like we're on a line. Like call
Yeah.
us, chat with us, and then like us, the two crows, like embodying our ancestors. And as my mom said, like I didn't really know about our crows until honestly the first time that I really was made aware of it was when so my mom does intuitive drawings, and she's an amazing artist, and
Oh, thanks.
she's done two for me so far. The first one was when I was kind of like, all right, I know you do this like metaphysical woo-woo stuff, whatever. And I spent the first 30 years of my life as a full-on scientist. I've been in the pet industry as a research and development scientist for 10 years, right? And so I took a journey to go prove the world until the universe slapped me in the face and then said, hey, you're missing a whole other side of you, which is your intuitive side. And so I started kind of asking my mom about a little bit of the stuff I'd been guided to. And so I asked her in 2018 for another intuitive drawing. I'm trying to find it because in that drawing was a crow. And I was like, well, what is this crow? She's like, oh, it's our ancestor. I was like, why don't you tell me about this? What are you talking about? But I wasn't open to receiving, right? You got to be open, and she's very aware. Here it is. So I'll see if I can. So let's see if I don't know if this works. You can kind of see one of the intuitive drawings and the crow kind of guiding me, and there's my husband kind of following me along the path and just transformation. And I will tell you, everything from this picture that she drew in 2018 has come true, except for some like stuff that's written on my forehead that's about to come out of my mouth. When it does, you'll know, I'm sure. So pretty awesome that she can do this one, and it supported my journey, and it showed me about the crow. So then hence I launched an entire holistic business, and my logo is two crows because it's the ancestors, it's the magic, it's the spiritual side of me and the intellectual side of me, kind of yin and yang in harmony, right? Walking this earth, being guided. And it was right after that the crows started visiting me on my way to the office, and it's always two to business meetings, two crows. And so I always watch that, and if they follow me to a business meeting, it's a really good sign, especially if they call at me. And so I'm very, very aware, and it's worked very much in my favor. And since all of this has happened and we've been more at home, the crows are right out my door. Like I'll be laying in bed, and now they're calling at me outside like my bedroom window. So they're like, okay, if you're not going to be out, we're going to come to you, because they're really asking me right now to step it up, to do what is in my heart. So it's pretty cool. So I love it.
Yeah, and I just got this really cute picture. We can help design up a logo. Like flash in before we get started or something. Maybe even contact information in there. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we can definitely, we can brand it, and then like it can run under the alternative line because it falls right under the brand, the crow. I don't know. We can just talk about, that's part of what I'm trying to figure out is what I've launched this holistic business, right? And then thank you. My husband brought me an amazing green smoothie.
Hey, Brady.
Okay, does this content go under alternative business one, or does it go under our personals, or is it a combination? It's like all that social media stuff. But let's at least start with the name, and then we can start to figure out where to go from there, and just keep sharing kind of almost the journey of the creation. And as you said, our backgrounds may change, our logos may change, or what we look like may change, but that's because we're being real raw in our journey, and we're hoping that by sharing this, that we can serve not only ourselves, because we need support on this journey, we can grow closer together as a family, and we can embody the energy and the medicine of the crow that we have in us, but also serve others. And so maybe as people want to come join our line and chat with a couple, I wanted to say a couple old crows.
No, they are old crows.
I know, but it is true.
That's when I could be old. I'm telling you, 88. Other than then, it's not happening.
I'll embrace it. I am an old soul, and I've been around for a very long time. So to call like a couple old crows, I'm totally fine with, because I've done a lot of like soul retrieval in the past like couple weeks. It's been pretty intense, and I will tell you, I've been places. So to call me an old crow is a compliment. Heck yeah, I've got so much knowledge in here from this. Like, yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. See, okay, ancient, elder, just old.
Ancient, yeah.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
couple ancient crows.
yeah. It doesn't ring. But
Couple wise crows.
wise crows.
I think
Chatty.
that's why they call them old crows, because it's like they're ancient, they're wise, they're magical. Like, I don't know. It's your perception of the word old. Old means wisdom. Old means
Yeah,
learnings. So it's cool.
yeah.
The old wise ones.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to work with that word "old" and how it's resonating in my head. 'Cause I'm not liking it still. But that's my own stuff.
It
I want
doesn't need to be part of the name. It's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Because
It doesn't need to be part of the name.
there we go. And crows are they can be gossipers.
Mm-hmm.
Very talkative and very chatty. So
Yep.
but again, it's all about communication, right? And
Yeah.
what we choose to communicate about and how we choose to communicate. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and crows, they bring gifts. Like if you look back at like Greek mythology and stuff, they're the bringer of gifts to their community. So they'll travel the world and collect knowledge and gifts and bring it back. And that's something that's always resonated with me is like I want to travel the world, but I always come back to the community, right? So me, you, Brady, we're just down in Honduras and Guatemala during all of this coming out with the current situation that we're in right now, where we really trusted divine in our path and continued traveling through those countries while things were getting shut down and borders were shutting down, like kind of right behind us. But it's just because we are the crow, like we needed to be in those certain places to gather. And then as soon as we all knew right away that our time there was done. And the next day we were on a flight home. We were supported the entire way. And now we've taken that knowledge and now we're coming back to our own communities where we could have stayed there.
We could have.
It might have been safer. We kind of thought like, wow, we're about to go into the fire, coming back into the States, into our own communities. But that's what we do. We go into the fire. We bring the light into the darkness. We bring the knowledge of the crow to our communities. So we weren't just going to leave everybody behind. So it also, it's fitting. I love it.
Yeah.
Yay. Do you like it?
I do. I like it. All right. I think that's what it is.
I do too.
And I think too is that serious conversations will go on, but also fun.
Yeah.
If life is all serious, I think you're missing a bit of it. So I mean, you gotta enjoy it. You gotta have fun. So yeah.
I like it. I think that's good.
Serious to whimsy, both.
Yeah, I like it. That's cool. So now we have a name, and we'll just go from there. So we'll sit and digest this for a little bit, decide when our next call is. But welcome everyone to our show, Two Crows on a Line. I like it. We're here for you, right? So we'll continue having conversations and see where the journey takes us and start sharing. So I'm looking forward to that. Cool.
All right.
Awesome. So I'm going to stop recording so that we can eventually share this. Okay.